Okay, so for image upload locally in this .NET MAUI application, I have already created a video for this. You can find this on my channel. So here .NET MAUI, how to pick and upload image locally to .NET MAUI app. Alright, so I'm going to drop link of this video in the description box so you can check this video out. In this I have explained in detail. So we are going to follow the same approach. Okay, here what we'll do, inside this we have this save menu item form control. We have pick image button where it is here, pick image. Okay, so on this what we will do, we will simply have clicked event, new event handler, button clicked. Let's change the name, pick image button clicked. Let's name it this. Save it. Let's go to code behind. Here we should be having this button clicked. Change this pick image button clicked, and now we are good. Okay. Now let's open the file picker here. So here we'll say var file result equals await media picker dot pick photo async. Okay, now it will give us something in return. If we check, the type of file result is file result. Okay, which will have different things. So how this works, when we pick any image, we can either select an image or we can close, or let's say, yeah, cancel. When we cancel, this will be null, and when we don't cancel, when we pick an image, select an image, then it will give us the result. So here we will check if file is result is not null. Okay, then what we'll do, we'll say upload or save the image on disk. After that we'll say update the image icon on the UI. Okay, and if that's not the case, this means user cancelled from image picker dialog. Okay, here we could say user selected an image from the image picker dialog. All right, so when file result is not null, we need to upload the image on the disk. Okay, for this also I have that video. In that video I have explained this in detail, how to do this and all that. Right now what I'll do, I'll simply create a private method here, or maybe we can have it inside this only. So here we will have a path where we are going to save this image. Okay, so let's say local path equals path dot combine. Here we'll say file system dot app data directory, and then file name, the name of the file. It could be file result dot name, file result dot file name. So this will be the file name we are saving with. Now we have local path. After that what we'll do, we will get the image stream. This would be file result dot open read async. This returns task of stream. So we'll await it, await file result dot open read async. So now we have this file stream which we can use to save the file. All right, So let's move it upward. We have image stream, we have local path. Then we can simply save this. And how we will save this? So the way we use streams to save any image or any file in .NET, we'll use that thing only. Where we'll say using file stream or fs equals new file stream. First we will have path. This is going to be local path. Then second we are going to have file mode. So file mode dot create, we are creating a new file. Then we can have file access dot write, we are going to write the file. What is the issue? File system type usage statement cannot, using statement must be implicitly converted to system.I disposable. So what's the issue? Oh, using varfs. Okay, now this is file stream. Now we have this file stream. What we'll do? We'll say await the image stream which we got from the UI. We will copy this, copy to async fs. So we will copy this image stream to this file stream. Now this image stream is the file we selected from the UI, and this file stream is the place where we are going to save this image. Okay, so using this thing we will be able to save the image. Where? At this place, this local path. Alright, after that we need to update the image icon on the UI. So for this we will follow this approach where we had this greater than 0. So this thing, let's copy this thing. Image icon dot source, we'll set that image path, and height request width request 100. We'll do this here. Here we don't need to use this control, we don't have this control. We will directly have this item icon, and the source would be this local path. And this width request and height request both are going to be 100. And now we are good with this thing, uploading an image and showing that image on the UI. Now this is the second case where user cancelled the image picker dialog. So if that's the case, we will fall back to this thing, setting the default image and height and width to 36. Like this. Okay, so save this. Now here also we are not going to have this control. Now this thing is getting repeated at multiple places, right? 1 2 3 4. Well, we are okay with this, but let's create helper method here. So we'll say private void set icon image. Okay, and here first thing we will get the source, string source. Then second thing we will have let's say bool is default. Okay, so if it is default, then we'll use this thing. If it is default image, and then we need to have this control as well. We might get this control. So save menu item form control. So this thing only. Control. Okay. Now this source, let's say icon source is default, and this thing, let's do this. First we will have default. Second parameter as item source, which can be null. Default value, let's have it as null. Same thing for this third one, control, we will have it as null. This I'm doing so that we can directly use something, and the something is going to be if is default is true. In this case, we'll simply say icon source equals this default image. Okay. And then second thing, what we will do, we will check this control. If this is null, control equals, if control is null, here we can say control equals control or this. Okay. And all these things I'm doing so that I can use this with this control and from here without this control. So for both. Okay. After that, if that's not the case, we'll do this. And then if this is default, let's have int height, width, or let's call it size, which would be a default value of 100. If is default is true, then we'll say size equals 36 because that is what we are using here. All right. Then what we'll do, we'll say control dot item icon dot source equals this icon source. Right now it might be looking confusing, but trust me, when we'll change this, it will be a lot intuitive and easy to follow and all. Then in this second one also we'll say control dot item icon dot height request, control dot item icon dot width request equals this size. Save. And now let's first comment this out and just use set image icon on this control. So this control dot, okay, we need to make it, here it is, make it public. This icon dot set icon image, here we need to provide is default. In this case, this is not default. Icon source, this is this menu item model dot icon. Third one is control, so this will be this control. Copy this, come to the second place, comment, paste. Here the icon source, it can be null. Is default is true. So this is default, so it will automatically get this icon source and this control. Then here where we have this pick image button clicked, here we'll say directly set icon image, is default is false, icon source is local path, and last is null, which we don't need to provide. And then this one, let's remove this and we'll say set icon image is default is true. That's all. Okay, now it will work. Let's remove this thing, save, and now we should be good. Let's quickly try it out. Run. It's here. We are here. Pick image, cancel. We have the same image. Pick image, go to downloads. From here, let's pick any of the image. Let's say this ice cream, open. And we have this ice cream. Again, pick image, cancel. It would fall back to this. Pick image, select some other image. First that image comes, then it goes back to this, right? But we can at least see the image. Let's see what is happening there. Why that size comes first, then icon source? Maybe because it takes time to load this from here. Might be, but we are good. Okay, we if we got time later, then we'll see. Although the output is correct, but why that shows that increased icon, large icon, then it goes back to that we'll see later. But right now this is working as expected. Let's check that edit case as well. So edit case is working. If we cancel, this is also working. So we are good with this pick image thing. Now after pick image, we need to work on this save. Let's clean this up. We don't need these things now. Save. So when we click on that save button, we should have some logic, some validation here, and after that we will raise an event to our manage menu items view model to actually save the menu item. Okay, so here we'll have private void, or let's say private async task, and we'll say save menu item. I'm creating it as an event, not event, a command. So it is going to be relay command. Save it and save menu item async. Okay, now here we will have our validation logic. Okay, the first thing is we want name and description to be present, where we'll save string dot is null or white space item dot name, or string dot is null or white space item dot description. If any of this is null or empty, we will return from here. But before that, we will display an alert. Await shell dot current dot display alert. Title validation error. Message item name and description are mandatory, and the button okay. And we will need this message multiple times, this alert message. So let's create a internal method here, static async task error alert async and string message. And let's copy this thing, move it here. This is internal local functions concept of C#, .NET 8. It came in, it's been there since C# 7, I guess. Okay, so message, we will just change this message. So validation alert, display alert, validation error, title, message, whatever we provide, and OK button. So here instead of saying this, we'll say error alert async and just show this thing, nothing else. All right. After that, if we checked name and description, then we need to check for categories. If item dot categories, if no category is selected, dot any, not any. Okay, let's do this. C dot is selected If it is false, that means there is no category selected. Here also we'll return true, but before that we'll simply display an error alert. We'll say please select at least one category, something like this. Save. After this, for price, we should be good. We can't have negative price and it will not bind if we have some string or any other thing. I guess we are good. And icon image is also required, right? How would we know if we have icon image or not? Because if that is not present, we use default image, right? That where it is. Where is the default image? In this default image icon we use this. So how would we know? We will simply compare it with this one. So for this, let's do this. Let's create a constant here, string constant. In this class we'll say private const default icon equals this private const string default icon. And here when we are saving this, we'll say default icon. And now when we are saving, here we will check if item dot icon is equals default icon. So here we'll say await error alert async icon image is mandatory and return from here. Save and we are good now. Okay. Now we are saying that it should not be default icon, but when are we changing this icon? We never changed it, right? We should change it somewhere. We should change it somewhere. Let's think about it. When we are picking the image button, we should set that image in here. After setting this, so here we'll say item dot icon equals this local path. Now if we click on that button again and we cancel it, then we will lose the original icon, existing icon in edit case, right? What I mean is here, let's run it and let me show you what I'm trying to say. So we are in this screen. Let's say on this cocktail, I clicked on it. Now it has this is item dot icon. I say pick image. I cancel it. Right now we don't have any reference to that image, but we should have that reference to this image. We should store that existing image somewhere. And this would happen same with I selected energy drink, pick image. This time let's say I selected some image. I pick image again, I cancel it. Now we lose the existing image. So we need to store the existing image somewhere. For that, we should have that here when we are setting the icon image from this place on item changed when we are getting any new item, right? So let's have a public property here. So public string, let's use the label string. Here we'll say existing icon. Existing icon. And we'll set this here when on item changed, when this bindable property is getting changed, we are getting it, and this is edit case. There after setting the icon image on the UI, we'll say this control dot existing icon equals menu item model dot icon. Now we have this existing icon. Here we will check in this cancel case. We will check if not string dot is null or empty, or we can directly check if this existing icon is not equals null. Then if this is not equals null, then what we'll do, we'll say is default is false because this is not default image. Icon source would be existing icon. If existing image is null, then we will actually have the default image. So now this should handle that case. Okay. And now the way we are having this existing icon image, the same way we should have the new image path, new icon path, right? So that we can check that. And when we are saving it, we can set it to that item. Oh no, we are setting this item icon here, right? So we should be good with this. All right, let's run it. We'll check this case we just checked. First, we'll see the default case without selecting or adding anything. Manage menu. Pick image, this is default. Let's select some. We got it. Pick image again, cancel and default. Now let's add it. Pick image. We'll say cancel. Nothing is happening. Select it. Select some image. It got changed. If I pick image again and cancel, we are seeing the actual existing image which came with this menu item. So that means that existing image icon logic is working perfectly fine. All right. Now here we have all our validations. After this, we will have a command here, an event here. So public event action, and from here we'll say menu item model. We could say on save item, and we are going to invoke this event, raise this event here. So when we have all this logic, all these validations, after that we'll simply say on save item dot invoke, and we will pass this item. All right. Now let's use this save menu item command in our XAML form. So we have save button at the very end. This is the save button. Here we'll say command equals finding save menu item command. Save it. Save everything. And right now we won't be having anything. Let's use this on save item event on our manage menu item page. So here we will be having this form. It is here. After on cancel, we can also have on save item. New event handler. Let's go here. We have this thing. So for this, we will create a command in our manage menu view model to save an item. Okay. So here we have initialize, we have one category selected. Okay, this is manage menu item page. We need to go to view model. In view model, we have all these things. We have initialize async, we have set empty category to item, select category, edit menu item, cancel, and then we are going to have save. So private async task save menu item, and here we are going to have menu item model. This is going to be a relay command. Okay, and in here do we have is loading here? Yes, we have. So let's say is loading equals true. Then at the very end we'll say is loading to false, and in between we'll say save this item to database. So now we need to create a method in our database service. Let's go to data and database service. Here we'll say public async task of string nullable string. We'll follow the same approach which we followed for order. We will return error message if we have any. Okay, so public async task of nullable string. Here we'll say save menu item async. It will get menu item model as a parameter. Model save, and now we will have two cases. One, it is a new menu item we are creating, and second, edit case. So first let's work for new menu item. So we'll say model dot id equals 0, and then we'll have an else case. In if case, this is creating a new menu item, and the else is updating an existing menu item. Okay, so while creating a menu item, first we need to create menu item entity object. So menu item equals new menu item, or we can use the shorthand id, name, description, icon, price, and that's all. So from here we can remove this id because we are creating a new one, so there is no id. Or you can have it if you want to. It will be 0, which will be updated when we will insert this into the database. All right, then we'll say await underscore connection dot insert async menu item. Now it will return us task of int, so integer number of records affected. So here we'll say if this one is greater than 0, that means this save operation is successful. After that, what we will do, we will simply insert the category mapping. Okay, so those categories will say var category mapping equals, we have model. Inside this model we have categories, and in categories we will only get those which has its selected true. Okay, we have category mapping ready. Now here we'll say await underscore connection. Not just this, we need to convert this category is menu category model, but we need to convert it to menu category because that is the name of our database entity. Select new menu category, just this. So icon, name, no, not menu category, sorry, we need to have what is the name of our mapping entity, menu item category mapping. Menu item category mapping, yes, this one. So here we have id, which because we are creating it, so we will not be having, but we can have it as this default. Menu category id, this would be c.id, and then we will have menu item id, and this item id we can get from this menu item, because when this insert async gets successfully executed against the database, then it automatically sets that auto incremented id to this object. So here we will have menu item dot id. Now this is ready. Our category mapping is ready. Now we'll say await underscore connection dot insert all async category mapping. Now again, this could also fail. So here also we are going to have if this is greater than 0, then we are good. What we'll do, we'll simply set the id to this model. So model.id equals the menu item.id, and we'll simply return null because there is no error in this case. Now what if this operation was not successful? So here we know that menu item insert was successful, but category mapping insert operation failed. If this failed, so we should remove the menu item, newly inserted menu item from the database. Okay, so here we'll simply say underscore connection dot delete async, and we'll provide this menu item, and this is also going to be an awaitable method. So await call is here. Okay, and here we will simply return something from this else case, from this if case. From this if we will have return statement outside of this. So here we'll say return error in saving menu item, something like this. Now else case, when we are updating an existing menu item. Okay, here also we need to do this kind of stuff only. Now what we will do in this case, first we'll update the menu item, then we'll remove all the category mappings, and then we'll insert the new category mappings. That is what we are going to do. Now in that case, these are going to be all new operations, multiple operations, 3 operations basically. First updating the existing menu item, then removing the existing category mappings for that menu item, and then reinsert the new category mapping. So 3 operations. We will run those 3 operations in a transaction. So here what we can do, we can have await underscore connection dot, here we have a method run in transaction async. Okay, and this expects an action of SQLite connection. Okay, so let's call it db, and inside this all the operations are going to be sync, not async. This main thing is async, when it will try to set or run the operations against database, then it will use this async approach. Okay, now what we'll do, first thing we'll get the menu item from the database. We'll say db.find model.id. So this is menu item from. To find, we need to provide the type here. This is menu item. We have menu item now. Now we'll simply update the things. So menu item dot name equals menu item dot model, description, icon, price. Okay, we updated all these things. After that, we'll say if db dot update, inside update we are going to use this menu item, and here also if this is equals 0, that means this failed. So here we'll say just return error message from. Now because this is async, how this works, run in transaction async, it will roll back when there is an exception. So from here we will explicitly throw an exception. Here we'll say throw new exception and without any messages also. So here we to trigger the rollback. To trigger rollback, we'll say that's why we are throwing exception. Now, if this was not the case, that means update operation was successful. Then what we'll do, we'll simply delete the menu category mappings for this menu item. For this, what we'll do, we'll say we have two approaches. Can we do this db dot delete and delete all? But in delete all, we need to provide table mapping, or we need to provide delete all, and both of these things we can't do. So what we'll do, we'll use SQL query approach. So here we'll say delete query equals, we'll say delete from menu item category mapping, right? Menu item category mapping. This is the name of the table. Menu item category mapping, where menu item id equals question mark parameterized query. Okay, then we'll say db dot execute this query. Query will be delete query, and then parameter would be menu item dot id. Save it. Now we deleted all the mappings. Now we'll reinsert the new mapping. The new mappings we can get using this thing, model categories, where select this thing. So instead of doing this again, categories dot is selected and all this, let's go here in our menu item model and let's create one more computed property here. Here we'll say public menu item, or sorry, menu category model, array of this, and here we'll say selected categories, and here we'll add that where conditions, categories dot where c dot is selected dot to array. Now we can reuse this. Instead of doing this thing here where is selected and all this, so we'll say model dot selected categories. Okay, let's copy this thing, or let's copy this entire thing. Or let's just copy this category mapping, then we'll see. Inside this thing, after deleting, we are getting category mappings, new category mappings. Here we'll say now db dot insert all, and we'll provide our category mapping. Okay, now if this was 0, that means this operation failed. We'll do the same thing, return the response from here and throw new exception to roll back the transaction. Okay, looks like we are good. Now how can we return something from here? We can't, because this run in transaction async does not return anything. This is just task returning, so void basically. Here we can have a method external outside of this. Here we'll say error message with the default value as null, and we'll set this error message. So here let's set this error message, error in saving, or let's say updating menu item. And after this here again we'll say error message equals error in updating menu item. Save. Okay, cool. So we are good now. If that's not the case, it will have default value which is null. After this line, we can simply return this error response. Return error message. And now I guess our save menu item async method is ready. It was a big method. Okay, let's go to our view model, save menu item. Here we'll say var error message equals await underscore database service dot save menu item async model. Now we are good. We'll simply check if error message is not null. This means we have error. We need to show some error alert here. Okay, so here we'll say await shell dot current dot display alert error, and the message would be error message, and the button would be simple OK button. And then we'll return. We will not do anything. There's nothing to do here actually. If this is not the case, that means this operation was successful. Then we'll simply display a toast message. We'll say await toast from community toolkit.maui.alerts dot make message. So we'll say menu item saved successfully dot show. After doing this, we will reset menu item. That means this thing menu item is equals new and set empty categories to item. So we can directly call this cancel method like this. Now our save menu item method is also ready. Save it. This command is ready. Now let's go back to our page here inside this method. From here we'll say manage menu items view model dot save menu item command dot execute this menu item model menu item model, and this is an async method, right? Async command. Let's add async suffix, and then from here we can say await and execute async, and let's add private async here. Save, and I guess we are good. There was one more place where we were using that selected category, that condition, right? In somewhere inner control for validation, right? Here this thing item.categories.any. So instead of doing this, here also we can say if item.selected categories dot length equals 0. If it is equal 0, then we'll display this one. Please select. Save it. And now we have this end to end. Let's see if this saving part is working, updating and creating new. Okay, it's here. Let's come here. Let's do this. Cocktail 6.99. I want to change it to 5.99. Let's save it. Menu item saved successfully. We have this message. This got cleared. This is again 6.99. This thing we can go here and come back. Then we will have 5.99. But we need to fix it. We need to update it in real time. That we'll do later. But right now we can see that this got updated. Now let's try to create one item. So some ice cream, pick image. Let's pick some image, some small image. I don't know, all these are bigger. Price 2.5. Description strawberry cream, something like this. This will go maybe in dessert. Save it. Saved successfully. Go to desserts. Here we have this ice cream and we can't see this image. This is an issue. We need to check what is the issue. Maybe because this image was very big, very large image. We need to have some smaller icon. Okay, let's click on this for edit. We can see this image. That means this image is getting rendered here, right? If you see, because this image is very big, that's why we can't see it properly. So let's do this. Pick image and let's try to use some small icon. I don't know, maybe this GitHub logo. Open, save, snacks, desserts. Now we can see this GitHub logo because this image now fits. So we have this image icon. So creating new menu item, updating an existing menu item, these things are working fine. Cool. So we are good with this functionality as well. Now next thing is, whenever we are updating anything, it should update directly. We should not be going around here and there, right? It should be updated in real time. That thing we'll work on next. Right now, let's close everything. Save it.